Welcome back to Wave and Docker. Today is episode 2 of Waves Faves for NFL Week 6, where I pick my favorites to win based on just, casual level analysis. But, it varies. Let's just get right into it. Like and subscribe. Let's go. Tonight's Thursday night matchup is between the Chiefs and the Broncos. I'm taking the Chiefs. I think the Broncos are still a pretty bad football team. They lost to the Jets last week. I think the Chiefs are riding high. They have the magic of Taylor Swift, which is, something. So I'm taking the Chiefs. Next up is Ravens versus Titans in London. I'm going to take the Ravens. The Ravens looked awful last week against Pittsburgh. Somehow they lost that game. But I think they're going to bounce back. I think Lamar's still a pretty great quarterback. I think they just have, really bad wide receivers. And I think the Titans are an all right team, but I think the Ravens are going to beat them. I think they're actually playing in Tottenham's stadium, which is pretty cool. So, maybe the Ravens will bottle this game, but I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them anyway. Next up is the Commanders versus the Falcons. I'm going to take the Commanders. The Commanders got beat pretty bad by the Bears last week, but I think they're going to bounce back. I still really like Sam Howell. Obviously, I'm just basing this off of the one game that I watched of him against the Eagles, where that offense just looked kind of ridiculous compared to, how they've looked in the past. But I'm still going to take them. The Falcons did. I think they won last week against Houston. But I don't know. They're just a weird team besides Bijan Robinson. He's the only functional part of that offense, I feel like. So I'm going to take Washington. Next up is the Bears versus the Vikings. I'm going to take the Bears. I think Justin Fields is going to have another good game. Justin Jefferson is on the injured list for the next few weeks, so that is a huge factor in limiting the Vikings offense. I don't know. I think Justin Fields is going to have another big game. Him and DJ Moore got 80 combined fantasy points Thursday night last week, so I'm going to take the Bears. Next up is the Bengals versus the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Bengals. Bengals had a huge win last week where Jamar Chase had 500 receiving yards and 60 touchdowns or something. I think they're on the come up. I think that win was perfect for them to just start, an uphill stretch. I really didn't feel like they were playing. They definitely didn't look like a 1-3 team. Now they're 2-3. But I think they're just going to continue to battle and move upward because they are a good football team. They've been in the AFC Championship the last 2 years. So I think they're going to beat Seattle. Next up is Niners versus the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take the Niners. The Niners are, like I said last week, probably, top 2 football team in the NFL. Obviously, I'm going to take the Eagles as the best team in the NFL because I'm an Eagles fan, but the Niners are ridiculous. I still think Brock Purdy's, I don't want to say fraud because that's too harsh. He's cool. He seems like a cool guy. I just hate the Niners. But I really don't think that he's this next big thing that a lot of analysts are. I saw Rex Ryan compared him to Joe Montana, which is just whoa. The Niners have arguably the most complete team on offense and defense, and you just need a guy who can hit his targets, and that's what Brock Purdy does. But, I'm going to move on from my narrative. I think the Niners are going to beat the Browns. I think it's a pretty clear matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them by, 15, 20 points. Next up is Texans versus Saints. I'm going to take the Texans. My Texans pick last week did not work out. I still think C.J. Stroud is a pretty great quarterback. And I actually think my Saints pick last week didn't work out. I think the Saints won last week as well. I'm going to take the Texans. Just basically everything I said last week. I think C.J. Stroud is just really good. And I think the Saints are, meh. So I'm taking the Texans. See, this is the analysis you get from these videos. Just vibes. No analytics. Just, he's a baller. He's a whatever. You know what I'm saying. Next up is Colts versus Jaguars. I'm going to take the Colts. Anthony Richardson is out, but Gardner Minshew, I think, is a pretty good quarterback. He's arguably maybe one of the best backups in the NFL because, he could start somewhere else, arguably. You could probably see him starting in Atlanta or see him starting in, honestly, Cleveland. I think Deshaun Watson's kind of ass, but I think Gardner Minshew's a competent quarterback. And the Colts are actually looking all right this year. And I don't know. The Jaguars just kind of seem like pretenders to me. So I'm going to take the Colts in this AFC South matchup. Next up is the Dolphins versus the Panthers. I'm going to take the Dolphins. The Panthers are the only winless team in the NFL, which is just kind of insane. I kind of feel bad for Bryce Young. He's kind of getting thrown under the bus for all these losses, but he's young. He doesn't really have a team around him. He has Thielen and Sanders as his back, but I don't know. That team is just mid as hell. But I'm going to take the Dolphins because I think the Dolphins are a really good football team. Next up is Pats versus Raiders. I'm going to stick with my delusions. I think, like, Bill Belichick did say that he's not going to bench Mac Jones. You know what? I think this is a game where Mac Jones needs to just, if like this feels like he's teetering between the bench and the starting role. So if he loses this game, I think he's going to get benched. So I think he's going to play with some fire in his belly. But, he's also Mac Jones, so we'll see. I'm just going to take the Patriots. The Raiders, they won last week, right? Yeah, wait. I don't know. They might have. I forget. I'm going to take the Patriots because I think this is just a back against the wall Mac Jones game. And I think Mac Jones is an alright quarterback, so I think, he may be able to do something, but, I'm going to take the Pats. Next up is Lions, Buccaneers. I'm going to take the Lions. I think the Lions are a really good football team. I like Jared Goff a lot. And I think, I think it's just, like, I can't talk ball at all. I can just really talk Eagles, but I'm going to take the Lions. That's all I'm going to say. I think the Buccaneers are a good football team. I just think the Lions are a little bit better. I think their offense is really, really good, and I like Dan Campbell as a coach a lot, so I think they're just going to beat the Buccaneers. Next up is Rams, Cardinals. I'm going to take the Rams. With Cooper Kupp being back, and, he was kind of, I think they kind of held him back last week, just because it was his first game off the IR. So I think the offense is going to really be clicking in this game against Arizona. Puka Nacua is a really good wide receiver. And I think the Cardinals are all right, but I think I'm going to take the Rams, like I said earlier. This is a bad video, but you know what? We're just talking ball. Rams over Cardinals. Next up is Eagles, Jets. I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles every week, honestly, just because I'm an Eagles fan, and that's just how I think. But, the Jets are all right this year. I think Zach Wilson has had a pretty good last 2 weeks. And, I think they've done an all right job, like, scrounging. I don't know if that's a word. Just finding a way to hold themselves together after Aaron Rodgers goes down 4 snaps into his Jets career, or Jets stint. I'm to the Eagles, though. We still haven't played our best ball yet. The offense in the red zone has not looked really good, but I think our defense has been phenomenal over these last few weeks. I think Sean Desai has done a really good job scheming up stuff and making adjustments, but, I think the Eagles' offense isn't clicking at 100% yet. We got Goddard a few touches last week. We got him a touchdown, but Devontae Smith only had, 2 or 3 targets, so I think once we get everybody involved, this offense is going to be really lethal, so I'm going to take the Eagles over the Jets. Next up is Bills versus Giants. I'm going to take the Bills. The Giants are looking like one of the worst teams in football right now. And I think the Bills, even though they lost last week, I think Josh Allen is just one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Stephon Diggs, one of the best wideouts. I don't know. I don't really see the Bills losing back-to-back games that much this year. I think when they lose, they make adjustments, and then they win big next week. That's just how I look at it. But I think I'm going to take the Bills over the Giants as, a no-brainer. Next up is Chargers-Cowboys. I'm going to take I hate the Cowboys pick. I'm going to take the Chargers. Cowboys lost pretty bad last week to the Niners. I just think Dak Prescott is just not a good quarterback. I think he might be bottom 16. He's just mid. Not just because I hate the Cowboys. I can just say whatever I want because this is my channel. But I don't know. I think I'm going to take the Chargers here. I think Herbert's going to have a really big game. And I think the Cowboys are going to lose 2 straight games just because I think that Niners loss. I think they definitely thought in their heads that they're going to beat them. And they lost that bad. So I think it's just going to be a in their heads thing. So I'm going to take the Chargers. That could just be a delusional Dallas sucks brained pick, but I'm going to take the Chargers. I went 9-5 last week with my picks, which I think is all right. I think that's admirable. There's 15 games this week, so let's see if I can improve to 24-5. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you think my picks are terrible and I'm an awful YouTuber. But, I'll be watching one of these games at least, the Eagles game. So, let's hope my picks pan out, and I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.